this is an insane situation. Diplomatic interpreters aren't necessarily on everybody's radar. One of the most notable moments involving an interpreter for what an American president was saying was the fake sign language interpreter at Nelson Mandela's memorial, Temsanka Janji. I don't know if you remember that name. Due to some combination of chance and I guess security lapses, during Nelson Mandela's memorial service in South Africa, a guy was up next to Obama doing sign language interpretation, and it was just total nonsense. Okay, let me remind you of that.
Mandela and Grasa Machel and the children and the grandchildren, and eventually we'll start to hear the tributes. We'll hear from the family members. We'll hear from President Zuma, President Obama. A huge cheer went up when the Chinese vice president came in. I believe it's the vice president who's here representing China. And let's not forget, incredibly, the Chinese have invested so much in Africa, South Africa.
All across Africa.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. And they've practically taken over, if not taken over, U.S. influence.
Okay, so if you were watching with us, you saw a sign language interpreter there who was communicating nothing with the signs that he was using. Amazing story in and of itself, one of my favorite stories. But we have an even better story involving interpreters, and none other than our fearless leader, Donald Trump. As you can imagine, when Trump meets with diplomats and world leaders who don't speak English, there's an interpreter. A Japanese interpreter named Chikako Tsuruta has said that he and his interpreter friends simply don't translate Donald Trump verbatim because they're worried it would make them as interpreters sound stupid. Shinzo Abe, or whoever they're interpreting for in the moment from Japan, they believe would look at them like they're idiots rather than looking at Trump like the idiot that he is if they were to translate verbatim. And this is causing huge uproar within the interpreter community because it's not seen as proper, Pat, for an interpreter to at all modify what the principal is saying simply for fear of coming off as intelligent. The idea being, you're there as an interpreter to interpret the words as they are. They might be violent, they might be horrible, they might be evil, sad, funny, or in Trump's cases, just indicative of ignorance. This is what we call a unique problem of the Trump era.
Well, part of this is because there are so many Trumpisms that you couldn't possibly translate, like big league, for example.
Right.
But then, I mean, just this week he said, you know what uranium is, right? It's this thing called nuclear weapons and other things.
Right.
No one's going to sign their name off on a translation of that.
What somebody needs to tell them is, don't worry, it's just as stupid sounding in English when Trump says it. You don't have to worry about the translation making it sound that dumb. What's clear